Moneybagg just gave the internet a masterclass in selective VIP access, and the internet absolutely noticed. A video surfaced this week showing the Memphis rapper literally ushering someone out of his club section while posted up with Ari Fletcher, and the clip has ignited a full-scale speculation frenzy across social media. We're not talking about some explosive argument or dramatic confrontation. This is pure, unfiltered boundary setting in real time, and fans cannot stop theorizing about exactly who Bagg was trying to protect his space from. The footage is straightforward enough to spark 1,000 interpretations. Moneybagg's in VIP with his arm around the scenario, looking casual but deliberate as he gestures for people to exit his booth. There's no yelling, no security, non-involvement, just a man making it crystal clear that the guest list for his section was closed. Ari's standing right there in the middle of it all, and that's where the read gets interesting. Let's rewind to the actual vibe that night. Bagg pulled up looking like money, and I mean that literally. Black leather jacket worn shirtless, chain work visible, shades even though it's late night at a club, the whole aesthetic screaming confidence. And don't test it. Ari matched that energy in her own way. All black everything, jewelry stacked, makeup on point with that glam beat, her updo sleek enough to cut glass. These two weren't just clubbing. They were arrived. When a couple shows up looking that coordinated and that intentional, they're sending a message before they even get to their table. The moment Bagg started working the crowd dynamics, though, that's when the internet decided it had free rein to speculate. The video isn't grainy or unclear. It's clear enough that you can see exactly what he's doing, but vague enough about who he's actually telling to leave. And that ambiguity? That's what turned this from a regular club night into a full conspiracy board situation. The Lil Baby theory took off almost immediately. Someone in the Shade Room comments cracked the joke that Bagg was kicking his own label mate out of the section, and people just ran with it. Not because there's actual beef between them, but because the speculation is fun, and celebrity friendship dynamics are always fair game for armchair analysis. Nah, even you gotta kick rocks right now to someone in his own camp was too entertaining for Twitter to resist. That particular joke hit because of how absurd it is, the randomness of naming your own collaborator as the person getting the boot. Then came the side piece theory, and this one landed harder because, well, that's always an option at a club. Someone suggested that whoever was trying to linger in their VIP was someone with unclear intentions or a complicated history. That sparked a whole secondary thread of people weighing in on the dynamics of relationships and boundaries in nightlife settings. The side piece angle didn't need evidence. It needed plausibility, and that's something it definitely had. In entertainment circles, especially at high-end club venues, there's always someone trying to get closer to somebody else's business. Bagg's message was essentially, not in my booth, not tonight. But here's where it gets interesting from a relationship angle. Some commenters weren't theorizing about who was leaving, they were analyzing what Ari's reaction meant. One Instagram user pointed out that she looked genuinely happy, genuinely unbothered, and genuinely supported by the move. That's a different read entirely. This wasn't a couple fighting in VIP, this was a girlfriend watching her boyfriend maintain boundaries and apparently approving of the approach. The comments that emerged about this were interesting because they highlighted something real. Women noticing when their partners are protective in ways that feel appropriate versus controlling. Ari's demeanor suggested she was in the first category. There was even a comment from someone who basically said, "Me acting shocked. My man is mean to other people even though that's my favorite part of him." That line captured something genuine about relationship dynamics that doesn't always make it into mainstream conversation. There's a version of attraction that's rooted in someone's ability to establish themselves, to not be pushed around, make clear decisions about their space and their energy. Ari's presence in those moments, calm, confident, seemingly pleased, suggested she understood exactly what was happening and appreciated it. The protecting her peace red became a dominant narrative pretty quickly. Multiple commenters came to the conclusion that Moneybagg wasn't just being arbitrary about his VIP section, he was being intentional about protecting the quality of the night for Ari specifically. Maybe whoever he was kicking out had a history with the relationship. Maybe it was just someone who had too much energy or the wrong energy. Maybe it was someone who couldn't take a hint that the booth was off limits. Whatever the reason, the narrative shifted from aggressive bouncer energy to boyfriend, making sure his girlfriend's night stays good. What's not being discussed enough is the actual mechanics of how celebrity VIP sections work. These aren't just spaces where anybody with a bottle can sit. There's an entire social hierarchy, an understanding about who's invited, and an expectation that the person hosting the section gets to set those terms. When you're Moneybagg Yo, a successful rapper with genuine mainstream reach and enough money that bottle service is a casual expense, your VIP section comes with authority. You can tell people to leave and they leave because the economics of the situation make that clear. He's paying for the space, the drinks, the energy, his rules, his booth. What made this moment notable isn't that it happened. It happens constantly in clubs across the country. What made it notable is that it was captured, shared, and immediately became content for analysis. That's the modern club experience. Everything can become a story if someone decides to film it. The fact that this video went viral says something about how invested people are in celebrity relationship dynamics, even when the dynamics are mundane. A man told someone to leave his section at a club. That's normal. A famous man telling someone to leave his section while with his girlfriend in the presence of cameras? That's a story now. Unbothered peeper, that's die. Timeline aspect matters too. This dropped while people are already invested in monitoring the Moneybagg and Ari dynamic. There were already rumors floating around about potential marriage, the way he's been wearing certain jewelry, the way she carries herself around him, the frequency of their public appearances together. So, when this moment surfaces showing him being protective and her being receptive, it feeds into a larger narrative about their relationship being serious and intentional. They're not just dating, they're operating as a unit with clear boundaries and respect for each other's space. What people who don't spend time around high-end nightlife don't always understand is that these moments are actually tests. The way someone handles their VIP section, who they allow in, who they keep out, how they treat people trying to access their circle, that's all communication. It's saying something about your values, your relationships, your boundaries. Moneybagg passing that test by being clear and direct, instead of letting things get awkward or messy, actually plays well. He didn't call security to make a scene. He didn't create drama. He handled it himself, cleanly, clearly, efficiently. The gender dynamics of this are worth noting. If the roles were reversed and Ari was the one telling people to leave Moneybagg's section, the discourse would probably frame it differently. There might be more commentary about her being controlling or possessive, but because Moneybagg was the one establishing boundaries, it reads more as him being a man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to enforce it. That double standard exists whether we acknowledge it or not, and it shaped how people talked about this clip. Some people focused on the fashion moment too, which is relevant to understanding the full picture. Bagg's shirtless leather jacket aesthetic wasn't accidental. That's a deliberate choice that communicates confidence and a certain kind of power. Ari's coordinated approach, matching his energy without copying his look, shows intentionality on both sides. They weren't just going to a club. They were making an appearance. And when you're making an appearance, certain things matter about how you handle yourself. Moneybagg's handling of the unwanted guest was consistent with his overall presentation that night. In control, unrushed, confident. It can be. The random nature of who actually got kicked out might be the most interesting part of this whole thing. There's no accusation from anyone. There's no beef explanation. There's no this person tried to do something specific. It's just Moneybagg deciding that someone didn't belong in his space and removing them from it. That kind of authority without needing to justify it is something you can only really exercise when you have enough status and money to back it up. A regular person doing this might cause drama or look petty. A rapper who sold millions of records and has genuine financial resources can just do it. Comment that made the roundest at the most was someone joking about what happens after you get shooed away, basically saying once you've been dismissed from a VIP section by the person running it, the natural next step is to go home. There's an implied humiliation to being told to leave someone's booth, and everyone in that environment understands that. You don't just move to the regular section and have a fine time. You've been removed from the circle, and that's the kind of thing that sticks with people in certain social circles. That's why Bagg didn't even need to be aggressive about it. The gesture alone communicated everything. What this really shows is that Moneybagg and Ari operate with a level of comfort and understanding that suggests a solid foundation. There's no tension between them in the clip. There's no moment where Ari looks uncomfortable or unhappy about what her boyfriend is doing. She's just there, present, seemingly vibing with how he manages the situation. That's the opposite of relationship red flags. That's two people operating on the same page, whether they're actually married or engaged or just seriously committed. The way they move together suggests they've already made decisions about what their dynamic looks like.